We've heard your guys' commentary on what we do. What did we tell people in December? After we tell them, you've both been our journalists, you've both been running podcasts. What did we tell the fans in December?
That you're going to have Duncan Kincaid as special ref and Bud Barnes as timekeeper.
Mr. Barnes to you, sir. And then, right before nuclear warfare, what did we tell the fans in the promo? What did we tell the fans? Come on.
Do you remember?
I mean that you were going to do it. This was your place now.
Okay. So we told the truth, right? We told everybody what's going to happen in December. Then we reiterated it in January, right before nuclear warfare, that Duncan Kincaid is going to be the ref. Mr. Barnes is going to be the special timekeeper, and that we're winning these Empire Tag Team titles. Is that not what we said?
That is.
Okay, so we told truth, is it not? So we're the bad guys because we speak truth? Are we the bad guys because we speak truth, sir?
No.
No. Are we bad guys because we speak truth?
No.
Okay. No, what? No, but what?
The deck. I mean, you had special guests.
Okay. We want to make sure that everything's going to fall in our favor in January. We didn't know BMF was going to win the titles in December. They did. Okay. But tonight, especially if you're reffing the match, you're going to learn respect. Everybody's going to respect us from this day forward. Because here's the thing, this is what you both need to understand, gentlemen. We're not the villains in this story. In darkness, there's light. We are the light, gentlemen. The sooner you both understand that, the sooner you can get all the sheep out here to understand that. Is that understood, gentlemen?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Oh, well, welcome.
I'm your host of Around the Empire, along with my co-host, Erwin. And yeah, welcome to Around the Colosseum. That's how Erwin and myself started out the last EPW event. And I don't think it got much better for either of us that night.
No, it was pretty much downhill all the way from there. I mean, it's like the Saints of Pro Wrestling came there with us on their minds. So how's your day going, Johnny?
I mean, man, it's been a long one, but it's been a great one because we get to sit and talk about Empire Pro Wrestling for Around the Colosseum.
Absolutely. And I think what we're going to talk about today is our broken dreams. Pretty good, pretty good. We're going to talk about the fallout of broken dreams and how everything turned out. We've got some wins, some losses, some title changes, and Cap W has a new member on their roster, and it kind of hits me a little bit in the feels. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it hits me a little bit in the heart area, and it feels a little personal.
I mean, this is wrestling. You can't have feelings because anybody and their brother can betray you. I mean, we see it all the time, brother against brother. The only tag team that's been together for more than 30 years is the Rock and Roll Express, and I don't think we're going to have that.
No, and I get that. I mean, I understand that this place isn't for friendships and everything, but again, as we talk about it a little bit further, we'll get into it. You know, there's just some things that you just never saw coming in. This is definitely one of them, and I guess, I mean, what better time to just get into it? I say we just dive straight into it. How does that sound?
Yeah, let me show the fans a bit of a clip. I mean, as you can see there, Martin's reaching for a tag. Got a decently good looking ref in there.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I think I like that guy. I like what he's doing. He's doing the best he can. And then there it is right there.
And
And
then we see Martin just drop.
that's what got me in my feels right there. I'm just looking at it right here. Right here, Martin Justice is the newest member of Central All Pro Wrestling. And I gotta say, Johnny, I mean, I understand, man, no one probably saw this coming, especially me, because the whole reason I even became a referee was because of Martin Justice. I mean, he inspired me because he used to always call it down the middle. And to see him jump after all of what he said, here we thinking that he's going to turn on Tyler Watts, but I should have known better. I mean, it takes a lot for a father to turn on his son, and for him to even go down this line, it just blowed me. I mean, I looked at him in the face and just asked him why, and he just flipped me off and laughed at me, and I don't know what to do with this. I mean, and because of that, our newest champions are E-Bone and Tyler Watts now, and I don't know what to say about this, and this is what really messes me up. I would love to see what Martin has to say.
They're not our newest champ.
No, they're definitely Central All Pro Wrestling's tag team champions. And as far as I'm concerned, J.R. Wing can take all of them to the reservation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to get much out of Martin Justice, with especially the way he just flipped you off after that match. And Vega's got to be fuming because he came out to help Martin back in January because Martin was going to be down.
Absolutely. And for him to just turn on him in the middle of the match, I'm pretty sure Vega's going to have some words. We're definitely going to see if we can catch up with him when we get a chance to talk about it. But, I know we jumped ship and everything. Let's backtrack a little bit and talk about the very first opening match. We had Malik Mayfield against Romeo Reese, and it was a pretty good match. I enjoyed everything about the match and everything. It was a pretty even match until yet again the numbers game played a part. Anytime you see one member of the Gold-Blooded Killers, you are guaranteed that all the members are going to be there. And Malik, unfortunately, was on the business end of it yet again.
Well, I mean, Malik and Cam Stewart kind of just put themselves in the deep end. Cam came in last month, remember, teasing a client. So Cam put Malik in that crossfire because Cam wants to be Guy Sterling. He may not admit it, but he wants to be Guy Sterling. Part of dealing with Guy Sterling is dealing with all of Gold-Blooded Killers and their swarm mentality.
Yeah, okay. There's dealing with the swarm mentality, and then there's what the Gold-Blooded Killers did to Malik Mayfield. We can't even show the footage because of how heinous it is. They put a plastic bag over the man's face and tried to suffocate him in the middle of the ring. I tried to do everything in my power to break that up. I mean, there's a line at some point, and we're getting dangerously close to crossing it.
I mean, there's a reason they all wear jumpsuits to the ring.
Look, and I get it. I don't even make eye contact with my Tigo Seeker for the sole purpose of I don't want to be on the business end of his shank. But this has to stop. And at the end of the day, Father Padge had enough of this. He came out and actually decided that he's declaring war on the Gold-Blooded Killers.
We'll talk about how that even just affected the night a little later once we get to Trench Blythe versus Bishop Simon's match. But right now, let's go ahead and skip over the tag since we talked about that. Well, actually, Bishop Simon and Trench Blythe was the third match. So,
yeah.
I mean, that was a good match.
Yeah, I mean,
we got to see
it was a good match again.
Bishop
I had
Simon's
the privilege of calling that match, and I would definitely tell you it was definitely a different Simon that came out there. He was definitely not unhinged. He was definitely more in control, and you can definitely see the tutelage of Father Padge and what it's done for him. He definitely seemed like he was in control of himself. Unfortunately, yet again, the numbers game got to the best of him, and he ended up coming up short that night. But you can definitely see a change in Bishop Simon, and I'm curious to see exactly how this new Disciple of Destruction is going to work out going forward.
I mean, it's going to be onward and upward once they get past the numbers game. I mean, everyone in Empire's either dealing with the numbers or have the numbers on their side, depending on who they're facing right now.
if they get past the numbers game, because it seems like every match I refereed that night, it was chaos. Every single match was chaos. At some point, it started feeling personal. Our next match that came up was Wolf of War versus Ozzie Hendricks. And I had to rule it as a no contest. And I got some really ugly looks for making that call. But if you'd have seen what I saw, the beating that was taking place, and then yet again, more anarchy, more chaos came in. What do you do in a situation like that?
Well, I mean, it was a chairs match. We know there's going to be chaos there.
Yeah, yes, and I'm not saying that I didn't expect it to be chaos in there. That's not a problem. It's just the fact that at some point I would just like to ref the match I'm scheduled to ref without all the extra stuff coming in there. But it seems like this is the norm here at Empire Pro Wrestling, and I'm hoping that's going to change at some point.
I mean, it's got to change if they want to keep it as a promotion, because no one's going to want to work there if you can't have a decent match, if you can't have a match that doesn't get interrupted.
No, you're absolutely right. I think probably one of my easiest matches to actually referee was the match that I expected to be the most chaotic, and that was our number one contenders match for the All-American title. We had, Rick Sanchez taking on Mitch Onyx, taking on Dominic Whiteheart, taking on Duncan Kincaid, taking on Tommy Too Good, and to watch this match, it was a beautiful match. Poetry in motion all the way around, no pun intended. But it was a beautiful match, and it seemed like it was the least chaotic match of them all when I expected to be the most chaotic match. And as of that, like I said, now your number one contender is Kevin Sanchez's partner, Rick Russo.
Yeah, which leaves Dominic Whiteheart in a position where how's he now going to get to Vega for that match that he was wanting back in December? And I mean, I really didn't expect Rick Russo to become the number one contender for the EPW All-American title.
Not at all. Yet again, what does this say in the long run going forward for, Rick Russo and Kevin Sanchez as the tag team yet again broken? This is no different than the Messengers going for singles goals right now, trying to see exactly what the end game is.
Well, I think if I remember right, we went to intermission after this match, and I actually caught up with Ozzy during intermission. Let's see what he had to say there. Ozzy, you just finished a heck of a chairs match with Wolf of War. What's going through your head right now?
Steel chair at the moment. That was a hell of a match. Wolf put on a great show. He beat the hell out of me. I beat the hell out of him. I don't know why Black Flag thought they needed to come out and interfere. I guess they're just trying to pick off the Messengers. But either way, that wasn't their place, and I wasn't going to stand for that. So neither were the Messengers.
With that being a no contest, are you done with Wolf of War, or do you guys still have more to go?
I've got a mutual respect for Wolf. I thought this was over the last time when I tore his shoulder apart. This time, he wanted some more. As far as I'm concerned, my half of it, I'm good with him. I respect him.
Well, Ozzy, thank you for letting me catch up with you after your match. Go find you some Aleve or other medications, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, and again, there it is. I think the biggest thing to take away from that video is the level of respect that Ozzy has given for Wolf, because we've seen Ozzy trying to get answers for Wolf as to why he turned on him and he didn't. So it seems like they've kind of buried the hatchet, maybe because of everything going on, the chaos with Black Flag Rising and all. But it seems like Ozzy's kind of done with Wolf for now.
Even with the betrayal, you will eventually beat each other up so much that it doesn't matter anymore. Like, growing up, some of my family would, like, if the kids would get into a fight, they'd be like, all right, you two go out to the woods, fight it out, and when you're over it, get back in here. Like, maybe that's all Ozzy needed to do with Wolf.
Hey, I thought maybe that was just my family did that. I did that with my boys. I'm quick to say, grab the boxing gloves and let's figure this out. I guess Ozzy and Wolf decided to just do it with some steel chairs instead.
Yeah, you're obviously nice if you give your your kids boxing gloves. I had bare fists.
Right, I'm getting a little soft in my old age. Cut me some slack.
I mean, I guess.
Now, after all of that, after the no contest, I think the biggest thing that was a shocker for me was the fatal four-way that happened for the EPW tag team titles. I was just doing my job, minding my own business, and all of a sudden, our commissioner shows up, Christopher Samuel Dean. And in my defense, I had a lot going on. It was chaotic. I was doing the best I can. I had some people in the EPW Army, some members of the Army were on my side. Some people in the Army were definitely like, hey, we need a new ref. The commissioner heard the cries of the people, and he comes out, offers to do what any good commissioner would do. If we're having a problem, he gets rid of the problem. He sends me backstage. Now, did he send me backstage in the most professional way? Not at all. But again, I'm not going to fight this dude. He signs my paychecks. So I'm going to just go ahead on and go to the back, of course, picking his hat up as he instructed me to do, and then head to the back. But then I see backstage, all chaos is breaking loose in the ring. You want to talk about that?
Definitely. Like, we've been questioning the professionalism of Christopher Samuel Dean for months now. The way he treated you isn't shocking. What shocked many of the fans, and to a certain degree myself included, was Christopher Samuel Dean slow counting, or just kind of refusing to do counts. And then to end the match, it was a fast count to where the Saints retained. And I mean, I know last month I said the Fatal 4-Way is kind of the bread and butter of the Saints of Pro Wrestling. But again, like we've been talking about, they had the deck stacked in their favor with the somewhat surprising commissioner joining them.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the part that really upset me. We tried to get a word with the commissioner at that time, but we didn't. However, our very own Anthony was able to get a conversation with him, and we have a little clip for his show, Rise of the Empire, that we want to play for you guys to see if we can get an answer from that. Check this out.
The question on people's mind right now is, why did you turn on EPW?
I didn't turn on EPW. I joined the Saints.
Find out more about this when the show drops later this week.
I mean, there it is. I didn't turn on EPW. I joined the Saints. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, I think they're one and the same based on what I saw. But again, my first referee turned his back on Central All Pro Wrestling, and now the commissioner who's over the referees is saying that he's joined the Saints. And there's something I'm missing?
You're missing a faction. I mean, like, psychotic messengers are growing. You might be able to join them.
you know?
I don't think you'll do good with the Black Flag.
No, I don't think I'm definitely a part of the pirate committee at all. I mean, nothing against them, but I don't think I'm a part of them. Funny you should mention that
Which Ghoulish Anarchy with.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good. I mean, I think listening to the chants that said that they can't swim was hilarious. But you mentioned that the Saints of Pro Wrestling, like I said, I need a faction and everything. Our next match that came up in there was the Gatekeeper versus Neshoba. It was a beautiful match, a classic, through and through. Yet again, up until, Gatekeeper got the best of him. But the real news in that is that Gatekeeper is now the newest member of the Psychotic Messengers. What do you think about that?
I mean, Lucian's not a dumb guy. He has to keep his numbers going and growing because his enemies are growing. We just seen earlier that night Martin Justice joining CapW. So you had Martin Justice, Neshoba, E-Bone, and Tyler Watts all with CapW. That's one invading force that the Psychotic Messengers are taking on. And then the other is the Black Flag Rising, which is Anarchy, Ghoul, Dam, Trench Blythe, and Badger James. So
yes,
you got to keep growing so you can keep that numbers game, and that's exactly what Lucian's doing.
No, absolutely. I'm not knocking him. He's definitely one of the craftiest people out there. I mean, he just added, the monster Jack Talos to his group, and now after this, adding the Gatekeeper. The Messengers are definitely a force to be reckoned with, especially when you got that kind of size, that kind of muscle on there joining Tank and Malachi.
Right, but he also just lost Wolf of War due to injury.
Yep, this is true. But I mean, that's not a bad replacement.
No, he's not. Which you mentioned the monster, the 7-footer Jack Talos. He was actually in the match after the Fatal 4-Way, and you got the pleasure of refereeing that one. Tell us a little about inside the ring and that action and the results.
Yeah, actually, that was a good match. It was a nice triple threat match. Everyone hold their own, but I have to say, Leo Fox came in and knew. I'm sorry, AIWF American Champion. It was a good match. I mean, there was, again, Black Flag Rising with there. The Messengers were there as well, but I think the numbers game kind of helped themselves out because they were able to run them off at the end of the day. But unfortunately, thanks to all that chaos, Leo kind of snuck in. With all that fighting going on between Black Flag and going on with the Messengers, it was a prime spot, and kudos to Leo for seeking the opportunity because that had nothing to do with him. Something my grandpa used to tell me, not my monkey, not my circus. He came there to win a championship, and he got it.
He also used a steel chair to win that championship. Let's not forget that part. He took Jack Talos out at the knees, which is how you need to take down a big man, but he did it with a steel chair, and then he pinned Badger James. He didn't even pin Jack Talos for the title. So Leo really just got in there, stole that, and got out, which you can't really blame him for.
Hey, where I'm, again, in this business, from what I'm learning, the W's a W, however you can get it, clearly.
And so that takes us to our main event of the night. Leo Montego
A main event it was.
versus Ray Leon, which going into that, I hadn't seen Ray Leon. Coming out of that, he's just as talented as the hype makes him, and it was an awesome match.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me really clear this up for you. I'm going to get really close to the camera so you can see this. If you have not seen Ray Leon in person, the videos of him are watered down at best when you see him live. To see him and Sika almost kill each other, it was epic to be a part of that match. Now, again, I didn't make eye contact with Sika the whole time because this man scares me, but it was a beautiful match. Yet, although I have to admit, the Gold-Blooded Killers were there, and it got really interesting because at some point, Guy Sterling legit stops the match in the middle of the match to bribe Ray Leon, and Ray Leon didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
Guy was trying to get him to join the match, him by the money the entire night. He did it before the show, he did it during the show, and I never saw the money in their case. Did you see money in the case?
No, I wasn't close enough to it, but again, whatever Ray Leon saw in there, he didn't like it. He didn't take that shirt and decide to wear it, that's for sure, and he just threw it back at him. Kind of caused Guy to fall onto the floor. Kind of was the best spot for him. Nothing against the guy, no pun intended, but I mean, he has a bad habit of getting involved in matches. He needs to stay off the apron.
Andrew and I was on commentary that night. We both think it might have just been Guy's dirty laundry in that bag. Because, I don't know if you had a good view of Ray Leon's face, but like you said, he didn't like what was in there.
No, not at all. And now that you said that, that could be his dirty socks. I mean, he could be having the JBK's laundry in there. At the end of the day, he probably, is washing, Sika's jumpsuit, for all we know. But the real twist that happened didn't necessarily happen in the match, though. What I loved was, after it all ended, the one and only, who we haven't seen since he took a fireball to the face. He's been radio silent. Our very own Kevin Sanchez was back. Now, I'm going to admit, we're about to show you a clip of him coming back. And, I mean, Kevin Mania was running wild, that's for sure. He was taking over the place, and he was dropping everybody on their head. And it was bittersweet to see him. And when you see this video, you'll kind of understand why we say this was kind of bittersweet.
You'll notice Kevin comes in by himself, but he brings it in. So he's trying to neutralize those numbers.
Yeah, he's definitely had a great equalizer, and then boom, he drops Reese. He drops one person on their head. He gets on up. He sees Reese. Drops Reese on his head. Crowd is going crazy, and that's what I loved about this match.
And then at this point, I do believe Kevin notices Guy Sterling on the outside, and he's turned his attention here, which it looks like he's about to give Guy a hanging DDT, but then Guy escapes. Like, the video can't see too well, but you do get to see the escape. And I think here comes your favorite part of what happened, Erwin.
Yeah, I mean, it was poetic justice to see someone finally put the GBK. So I go over to, shake the man's hand because, again, it's great to see him. I was genuinely worried about him. He took a fireball to the face. I cannot stress this enough, ladies and gentlemen. This man took a fireball to the face. And then, boom.
Yeah.
Ray Leon gets it. Now,
that clip,
I'm confused.
You need to use it, Ray Leon.
Now I'm trying to figure out what's going on at this point.
Where the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Okay, so if the enemy of my enemy is my friend, the referee is what at this point in time? Because I'm merely just trying to speak, and boom, what do I get for my troubles? A kick to the gut. And he really seemed like he had no ill will, no interference about it at all. He was okay with it.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's bad for him to go back to back with the clip, but like, let's show the fans what happened after the show in the back.
What the hell, man?
Hey, look. I'm sorry. I was after Tito. You were just in my way. I'm sorry. No hard feelings. I mean, I still like you. It's some of the best things I've ever done.
So if this is what he does to people he likes, I really, really feel for Montego Sika because it's got to be personal at this point. I mean, he did apologize, but like he still kicked me in the gut.
Yeah, like you said, he didn't feel the malice. He told you backstage there was no malice. You just had a bad night. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time. That was kind of the story for the night for you. Like, started off with Saints, had rough matches, ended with Sanchez giving a kick to the gut. And I mean, you and I even had a little thing, tiff in the back, right?
Oh, absolutely. Let's go. I mean, I was not feeling in the best spirits as of late, and even you and me had to talk about it. Let's go ahead on and roll that clip.
Go.
Hey, what's up with that? I'm your partner. You need to be polite to me. Say please when you want that bell rung.
Dude, it's been a rough night. I mean, can I just have a decent match? I mean, we both clearly can't get what we want here.
But all it is please. I can't control the chaos of Empire.
Look, I get that. That's my fault. From now on, I will say please when I need you to ring the bell.
All right, that's fair enough.
All right, come on, let's talk it out. All right. My bad.
All right.
Hey, again, it was a rough night, Johnny. Again, tensions were flaring, everything like that. I never want you to think that it was personal. No, absolutely. I tell you what, in the spirit of cooperation, can you please tell our audience, our Patreon viewers and our audience that are going to watch this at some point on YouTube, about EPW's next show coming up?
Yeah, our next show is March 16th at the Southern Oaks Recreation Center. And it's not just any show, it's a benefit show. A young man has been fighting cancer for over a year now. We've already did one in the benefit show for him, but fighting cancer is an expensive thing. Even though the treatment's free, that doesn't cover the costs of the parents taking him to the treatment. That doesn't cover the cost of any missed work that the parents have. So Empire Pro Wrestling, trying to do a benefit, try to help our own fans, family. We're doing Defying the Odds for Omar. And all proceeds will be going to Omar and his family. And everyone there is going to be donating their time that night. Like, wrestlers aren't getting paid. Ring crew's not getting paid. Commentators aren't getting paid. We're all there to help this family, and we would love to see every single one of the Army out there to help this young man who's bravely fighting cancer.
Absolutely. If now has never been to an EPW show, you bring a friend for this show. This means something special. This will be my first time meeting Omar, but I'm looking forward to it. From what I understand, this kid's been a part of the EPW Army basically since day one. So the least we can do is look out for him at the end of the day. I love what we're doing with this, and this means a lot to me. I've had family that's been involved, that's had several battles with cancer. Some of them won those battles, some of them lost those battles. So for us to be able to do something like this means a lot to me, and it just kind of shows you exactly what EPW is all about. I mean, we take this seriously. Our army is not just our fans. We don't see our army as just paying people. We see our army as part of our family, and anything we can do to rally around any member of our family, that means a lot to us. Tickets are still going to be the same price. We're still going to sell tickets, and they're going to be $12. Door opens at 5:30 as usual. The bell time is 6 o'clock. But again, we can't stress this enough, Army, that all proceeds, every single dime, will be going to Omar's family to help pay for these treatments, to help pay for him, and hopefully we get to see him and we get to do this again next year and the year after that, because I can't wait for him to win this fight. Omar, if you are watching this, know this, I am definitely rooting for you, man.
And I don't know how much we can actually say about what's in store for Defying the Odds, but there is some big things going to be happening. There's going to be some special matches, and it's definitely not one to miss, not only because we want to support Omar and his family during his battle, but the action that we're going to have, the matches, the excitement that's going to be around Empire in the build for this is just going to be amazing.
Absolutely. And like I said, we don't want to completely spoil everything right now, but we definitely say that you guys subscribe to all our social media channels. You can check them out in the ticker. We've got YouTube, X, Patreon, Instagram, Facebook. Follow us on our social media channels. Join our EPW Army, and we'll be able to keep you abreast of everything that's going on in between shows. Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
If you join our Patreon, you get early access to the Around the Colosseum, which you're listening to now, or Rise of the Empire with Anthony Lucerno, and much more. That
guy. I'm just giving him a hard time. No, Anthony's actually a good guy. But again, we both got podcasts. So, I mean, I guess even, we can have a little beef. It just won't be as bad a beef where I got to hit him with a steel chair or anything.
Yeah, I mean, we can't help it if he's the number 4 podcast host for Empire.
I mean, he's doing best. He's trying. Honorable mention still works.
Exactly.
Well, Johnny, I think that is what has been going on around the Colosseum since Broken Dreams. I cannot wait to talk to you again. I'm looking forward to seeing you actually for this upcoming event. Again, it's going to be on March 16th. I really can't wait to see you guys again. Fight for Omar. I really cannot stress enough. Please, please, please come out and support this cause. If you've never been to a show, this is the show we want you to show up at. Bring a friend. Bring someone that's going through so you can see exactly how the EPW Army rallies around one of our own. Please come there. All right. Well, Johnny, I think that is it. That is another episode in the can.
Exactly. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment about this. Spread the word, not only about our benefit for Omar next month, but the show in general. Get as many people as you can to support not only Empire Pro Wrestling, but local wrestling, because it's more than just the big companies, the WWE and AEW. Get to your local events, especially when it's Empire Pro Wrestling, because last shows have been standing room only. We just want to grow. We want to be bigger. And we can only do that with you.
Look, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, people. You wouldn't have those big shows if they didn't come through where? Local wrestling promotions first. We all have to start somewhere, and this is it. And I can definitely tell you, Oklahoma has some of the greatest independent wrestling I have ever seen in my life. I may be a little bit partial to EPW, but again, it has some of the greatest wrestling I have ever seen. On that note, we're going to go on and sign off. I am Erwin the Fourth.
And I'm Johnny Aman.
And we will see you guys next time on what's going on around the Colosseum.